Yo, what's up guys? It's Noah here. And in today's video, going to be talking about the NBA slate on Draftkings for Monday, October the 31st. Today is Halloween, so happy Halloween to everyone watching this video. We got a 7-game slate for tonight, guys. So we're going to go game by game like we always do. We're going to talk through each one of these 7 games, kind of give my early quick thoughts, what I do like, taking a first look at the slate on a Sunday night. Before we do get started with the breakdown though, if you guys have not yet, please hit that like button down below if you do enjoy these DFS videos and if they do help you out. Hit that subscribe button if you have not yet. Also, check out the sponsor of this video, PrizePicks. So PrizePicks, they are a player prop based DFS site. Very simple, very easy to use. You're just taking more or less on a player's projection. They do already have some projections posted for Monday night. And you can take a look at their board, see the stuff they have available right now. Obviously, they'll have a ton of projections posted, sometime on Monday once the full board goes up. Take a look at their board, see if there's any props that stand out to you. I do plan on making a video for PrizePicks for today, so I should have a video. If I don't get it posted later tonight, I'll definitely have it up sometime tomorrow on Monday. I'll talk through a couple props I like for PrizePicks today. If you guys want to tell me, see some plays I like, you can check out that video whenever it does get uploaded. And I do also provide a lot more additional content over on Patreon. So if these YouTube videos help you out, I do provide additional DFS content on Patreon. I give player pools and core plays for both DraftKings and for Yahoo. Also, I do give out additional PrizePicks plays on Patreon. Discord chat's available for Patreon members too. We have a lot that goes up over there. If you guys have not checked out the Patreon yet, you can check it out. Link down below in the description if that is something that does interest you. But let's talk through Monday's 7-game slate, guys. We'll start off with the first game of the night, Sacramento and Charlotte. This is definitely going to be probably one of, if not the most appealing game on the slate. Two very fast-paced teams. Sacramento this season is playing at the 6th fastest pace. The Hornets, they're 12th in pace. But this should be a fast-paced, high-scoring game. Pretty little defense will be played in this one. So I think there's going to be a lot to like here. Domantas Sabonis and De'Aaron Fox, I think both look like really good plays today. De'Aaron Fox has been really, really good this season. He's been playing big minutes. He's been rebounding really well. He's been dishing out a ton of assists. He's been scoring a ton. He's just been super, super productive. The $8,800 salary, that feels about right for Fox, but I think in this matchup, he definitely has the upside to exceed value on that salary. This is definitely one of those matchups where I could see Fox putting up over 50 DraftKings points. Really like De'Aaron Fox today. I think it's a great spot for Domantas Sabonis as well. Sabonis has not been nearly as good as Fox this season. Not been as consistent. He's had some foul trouble though. Like last game, he fouled out in 23 minutes. There was another game where he just got randomly benched. But most nights, if Sabonis is not in foul trouble and it's a close game, he's playing like 33, 34 minutes. And Charlotte has historically been a team that we've looked to attack with opposing big men. I think it's a really good spot for Sabonis. I would expect him to have a good game here. And at 8,200, that is definitely too cheap for this matchup, in my opinion. So really like both of the top two guys from Sacramento. Terry Rozier is once again doubtful, so the Hornets should be without both Rozier and LaMelo Ball once again. So you should see pretty big roles for guys like Gordon Hayward, Dennis Smith Jr., Kelly Oubre, PJ Washington. Dennis Smith Jr. and Gordon Hayward, I think, are probably the two guys I like most from Charlotte. Hayward's just been super, super consistent. He's not shown like a massive ceiling, which, at 6,200, I mean, for him to really pay off this price tag, in GPPs, you probably want over 40 DraftKings points from him, and he's only gotten that once this season. But I think it's a really good matchup. I would not be surprised to see a good game from Gordon Hayward here. He's definitely in play for me, and I think Dennis Smith Jr. is in a pretty good spot as well. He should get pretty good minutes here if it's a close game, probably low 30s minutes. I will say that Charlotte has kind of been spreading out their minutes a little bit. They've definitely been giving their bench some minutes. We haven't seen the starters play like huge minutes. I know last game went into overtime. That game against the Knicks also went into overtime. But I think we probably get like 32, 33 minutes from Dennis Smith Jr. today if it's a close game. And at 6K, I think he's firmly in play. Keegan Murray at 6K, I don't have an issue with. I think he's priced about right. He hasn't showed like a massive ceiling so far. His best game this year is 32 DK points, but he's playing really big minutes. He's shooting the ball a good amount. Obviously, it's a really good matchup. It's a fast-paced game. He's definitely viable if you do want to go there. And like Kelly Oubre is going to have a really good role. He should play pretty big minutes here. We know Kelly Oubre is not afraid to shoot. In a fast-paced game like this, there should be plenty of shot attempts, plenty of opportunities for Kelly Oubre to put up some shots. And it's 5,900. I mean, all these price tags look kind of appealing. Like I think my favorite plays from this game in general are still Fox and Sabonis. But like Hayward, Smith, Dennis Smith, Keegan Murray, Kelly Oubre, like I think all these guys are viable. Even PJ Washington, I don't mind at 5,700, but he's probably my least favorite play on Charlotte. Kevin Huerter, 5,300, like he's an okay option. I think he's priced about right, but again, it's a really good matchup. It's a fast-paced game. Like I would not be surprised to see Kevin Huerter have a good game here. But that's really like kind of my favorite plays from this one. I mean, you could take some shots on like Mason Plumlee. I know Plumlee had a good game last game in 23 minutes. Like you could take a shot on Plumlee, but really I think, Fox, Sabonis, Hayward, Dennis Smith Jr., those are kind of the guys I'm the most interested in, especially Fox and Sabonis. But let's go ahead and move on to the next game, talk about the Sixers and the Wizards. So we'll definitely have to keep an eye on the injury status for Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid is currently listed as questionable for this game. So this is obviously a big news that will definitely impact the slate. We actually did see last time Embiid was out, I think it was either Friday or Saturday, we saw them actually start PJ Tucker at center, and DeAnthony Melton moved into the starting lineup. So even if Embiid sits, like I don't think we're really going to want to target Montrezl Harrell or Paul Reed. Like they just haven't really given either one of those guys minutes, even when Embiid was out. Like Harrell, I mean, it's a revenge game for him. It's a good matchup too, but unless he starts in place of Embiid, I'm not really interested. I think Melton, we'll talk about him in a second. He would definitely become a solid value if Embiid sits. But I'm assuming Embiid plays. I think for now, looking at Embiid on this slate, I don't think he's someone I'm going to be prioritizing paying up for. He hasn't really been that consistent lately. Last few games he's definitely been underwhelming. I'm a little bit worried that Embiid's like not fully healthy right now. I know he's been dealing with some sort of injury. It says today he's questionable for a non-COVID illness. So like he's been dealing with a banged up knee. He's got an illness now. Like I just don't think I'm going to go to Embiid today. I think there's other guys I'd rather pay up for. James Harden, I did play. I think it was Friday or Saturday. I think it was Friday when Embiid was out against Toronto, and my God, Harden had like the worst game I've ever seen. He only took 9 shots, had 23 Draftkings points, 11 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. You would think that if Embiid's out, that would mean a really big role for James Harden. But obviously, Harden struggled last time Embiid was out. That was a tough matchup against Toronto. This matchup, I think, is better against the Wizards. I definitely would have interest in Harden today if Embiid sits. Like, it's just going to be hard for Harden to not at least do something. I mean, I know he was terrible against Toronto on Friday, but you would think the usage would definitely be there for Harden. The shot attempts would be there. We know he's a guy that can get you the peripheral stats as well. So I'm definitely going to be interested in Harden if Embiid sits. Same goes for guys like Maxey, Tobias Harris. Maxey was actually the guy that really benefited last game Embiid was out. But like on the Washington side, I really don't see anything I'm liking on the Washington side. Beal just hasn't really shown much of a ceiling this season. I know he did have a pretty good game on Friday against Indiana, but the upside just really hasn't been there for Bradley Beal. I'm not super interested in him. Porzingis, especially if he's going up against Embiid, I don't love that spot. I think the price tag's fair. Kyle Kuzma at $7K feels priced about right. And then, the Philly guys, Harris and Maxey, I'm probably only considering them if Embiid sits. And that's probably it for this game. Do want to mention DeAnthony Melton just because he did start on Friday when Embiid was out, played 31 minutes, had 38 Draftkings points. DeAnthony Melton has historically been a pretty productive point-per-minute player. So if he does wind up starting in place of Embiid, I think at 4K, he will be a pretty solid value today. But let's go ahead and move on to the next game, talk about Atlanta and Toronto. So looking at Atlanta today, top 2 guards here, Trae Young and DeJounte Murray. Neither one really stand out to me on this slate. It's a really tough matchup against Toronto. Toronto's a good defensive team. They play at a really slow pace. Also, Toronto's done a good job of limiting, these guards. Like we saw them really do well, keeping Harden in check. I think Trae Young could kind of struggle in this matchup, so I'm not in love with Trae. Same goes for DeJounte. On the Toronto side, I mean, we know what we're getting from the Toronto guys. Siakam, Van Vliet, pretty much all the starters are going to play huge minutes. Siakam at 8,900 is probably my favorite on the Toronto side. He's got a ceiling for this price tag. Like we've seen him put over 70 Draftkings points, one game this season. He's playing 36, 38 minutes in competitive games. I'm fine with Siakam as a GPP play. I think Fred Van Vliet at 7,700 is also viable. But like I'm not loving a ton in this game. I mean, this is one that I don't really see a ton that I love. John Collins has been really good this season, but I think in this matchup and at that price tag, he's just kind of like an okay play. Same goes for guys like Gary Trent and OG Anunoby. Clint Capella, like 5K feels so cheap for Clint Capella, but he just hasn't been getting the minutes this season. He did play 29 minutes last game, which was at least good to see. I don't love the matchup against Toronto, but like Capella has upside for the salary if he gets the minutes. But that's just that's the thing. Like they're just not giving him 30+ minutes. He's only played 30+ minutes once this season. So yeah, this is a game I really don't have a ton of interest in, I'll be honest with you. I think my favorite play here probably is like Siakam or Van Vliet. And even those two guys I think are just kind of like GPP plays. So let's go ahead and move on to the next game, talk about Indiana and Brooklyn. We did just see these teams play on Saturday. It was a really, really high-scoring game. I think we could see kind of the similar here. So far this season in terms of pace, I don't think Brooklyn's playing like at a super fast pace. Brooklyn is 21st in pace, but the Pacers are playing at the 7th fastest pace. Neither one of these teams have been playing much defense. Brooklyn is dead last in defensive rating. The Pacers are 27th. Again, I think we're going to see a high-scoring game here. Now, Kevin Durant, he didn't really have the best scoring game against Indiana, but he got 4 blocks and 3 steals. Had 48 DK points, played 39 minutes. He did take 20 shots. I mean, the shot volume's been there for KD. The usage is always going to be there, but he's still going to be splitting usage and opportunity with Kyrie Irving. So like when Kevin Durant's price at the 10K price tag, like he never really stands out. I think this is a really good matchup. So like I wouldn't be surprised to see KD or Kyrie have a good game here, but they're not going to be guys that I really prioritize paying up for today. I think Tyrese Halliburton looks like a really good option, though. He did really well in this matchup on Saturday, played 33 minutes, had 53 Draftkings points. I mean, Brooklyn, their defense has just been so bad this season. They haven't been able to stop anyone. They've really struggled stopping like star players. We saw Luka have a huge game against them. We saw Giannis have a huge game against them. Halliburton went for 26, 6, and 8. Like, I would not be surprised to see Halliburton put up over 50 Draftkings points again. I think at 8,500, Halliburton is still too cheap. Like, he should be above 9K at this point. He's a very productive player. He's getting 34, 35 minutes a night. It's a really good matchup. It's a fast-paced game. Definitely interested in Tyrese Halliburton. Ben Simmons he's an okay option. He did have 35 DK points last game. Nearly had a triple-double. 9 points, 9 assists, 8 rebounds. You're basically hoping for a triple-double if you do roster Ben Simmons. He's not really going to score much, but he's going to get rebounds. He's going to get assists. He can always get defensive stats. Again, like you're hoping for a triple-double. Obviously, last game he came up just short. If he gets 1 more point, 1 more assist, and 2 more rebounds, he finishes with almost 50 DK points. And obviously, that's kind of what you're hoping for. I think Simmons is fine. It's a pretty good matchup, obviously, in a fast-paced game. He's playable on a 7-game slate, but not like a standout option. Benedict Mathurin just continues to crush off the bench. He had a huge game against Brooklyn, 33 minutes, 43 DK points. He's kind of a scoring-dependent player, but he's been getting a lot of opportunity off the bench. He's been taking a lot of shots. His minutes have still been pretty good. He's just like a GPP play, but man, the matchup is really good. I would not be surprised to see Mathurin have another good game here. Buddy Hield, I think, is way too cheap. He was pretty popular last slate, and I think he'll be pretty popular once again. He's been performing much better lately. 37, 36, 30 or 44 DK points, 35 DK points over his last 4 games. Minutes have also been there, 32, 33, and then last game he got up to 38 minutes. The price tag at 5,900 is still too low on Buddy Hield, so I do like Buddy Hield quite a bit. I think he's way too cheap. I think Miles Turner at 5,500 looks like a really good option. He did not play in this game Saturday when these teams played, but we saw him play on Friday against Washington, and he played 32 minutes and was super productive, had 54 DK points. I think when Miles Turner is healthy and when he's playing, he's going to have a pretty big role. Obviously, no Domantas Sabonis anymore. Turner's going to have plenty of opportunity. He should be able to rebound more without Sabonis. His scoring should be up as well. He's a guy that can shoot threes. I mean, he's a productive player on a point-per-minute basis, and the $5,500 salary definitely makes Miles Turner a pretty appealing option today. And especially because he played 32 minutes last game, he should play over 30 minutes once again here. So, man, like on the Pacers side, I really like Halliburton, Hield, and Miles Turner. I think all those guys look pretty appealing. Even Nicholas Claxton, I don't mind at 5,400. His minutes have not been the best lately. His minutes have definitely been trending down, 23, 29, and 22 over their last 3 games. I would rather roster Turner over Claxton, but I think Claxton is okay. And that's probably it. Like, I don't see anything else I'm going to go to in this game. Definitely my favorite plays are coming on the Indiana side with those 3 guys that we just mentioned. But yeah, let's go ahead and move on to the next game, Detroit and Milwaukee. So obviously this is one that has a lot of blowout potential. Detroit's on a back-to-back here. Milwaukee's playing at home and rested for this game. Giannis, he should absolutely crush here. Detroit doesn't have anyone to stop him, but it's definitely a concern that Giannis might only play 3 quarters. Just because I'm sure Milwaukee's favored by like 14 or 15 in this game. Look, Giannis has been amazing this season. 58, 64, 74, 66, 64 DK points. Last game against Atlanta, he literally had I want to say he had 15 Draftkings points at halftime, and he still finished with 64 DK points. Like, he scored almost 50 fantasy points in the second half. It's crazy, man. He has such a high usage rate. He's rebounding. He's scoring a ton. He's getting a ton of assists. I mean, he does everything when he's on the floor. The $12,500 salary is going to make Giannis a tough guy to prioritize today. But if by some chance, if we get a lot of value on the slate, I mean, I have no issue paying up for Giannis. Giannis could put up 60 in 3 quarters. Like, it wouldn't surprise me at all. Drew Holiday, though, at 8,400, I'm not as interested in. I think if I'm going to play someone on Milwaukee today, it's probably going to be Giannis. Cade Cunningham, really tough spot here against a good Milwaukee defense, and probably going to be guarded by Drew Holiday. So, like, not really in love with Cade Cunningham, but he's been really productive lately. He's had some big games recently, 48, 59, 51 DK points. I'll probably be fading Cade Cunningham, though, on this slate. And, like, Detroit in general, I'm not in love with. Like, there's really nothing that stands out in Detroit today. The other Milwaukee guys, like Bobby Portis, Brook Lopez. I know Brook Lopez had a big game against Atlanta, but, like, I don't want to chase that. He's had some good games recently, but on this slate, I think there's just other guys I'd rather play. Yeah, that's really it for this one. I think if I'm going to play anyone in this game, it's probably going to be Giannis. And, like, even if this game blows out, I think Giannis could still get there in a blowout just because he's their entire offense right now. He's just doing everything when he's on the floor. But yeah, let's go ahead and move on to the next game, talk about Memphis and Utah. So looking at this one, on the Memphis side, John Morant is currently questionable for this game, so this is going to be some pretty big news to keep an eye on. Morant did miss their last game. Obviously, we saw Tyus Jones get the start. If Morant plays, I don't think there's going to be much I really target on Memphis because pretty much everyone on Memphis got priced up for Morant to be out. So if Morant plays, the only guy that I'd be interested in would be Morant, and I think he'd just kind of be like more of a contrarian GPP play. I think I'd rather, if I could pay up, I think I'd rather go to Giannis, but I feel like this is definitely shaping up as a slate where the mid-range is where you're going to want to go. So like the 7 to 9K range, that's where a lot of the good plays are today, in my opinion. But yeah, we know Ja has massive upside. I have no issue paying up for Ja. If you want to play Ja in tournaments, by all means, go ahead. But I think for the Memphis guys, so for like Bane, Tyus Jones, Dylan Brooks, I'm only considering these guys if Ja I'm only considering these guys if Ja is out. Bane had a pretty good game last game without Ja, 45 DK points, 34 minutes. He scored 32 points. Obviously, his role would be really good if Ja were to sit. Tyus Jones had a really big game. He put up 45 DK points, played 33 minutes. At the 6K price tag, like I think Jones is priced correctly now, but obviously if Ja sits, there's still upside there for Tyus Jones. He would still be playable. Dylan Brooks finally had a good game last game, made some shots, 29 minutes and 45 DK points. 5,800, like I'm only considering Brooks at the salary if Ja is out. So yeah, we'll just have to wait and see on Ja. On the Utah side though, not a ton I'm loving on Utah here. I think Lauri Markkanen at 7,100 is still okay. He did have a good game in this matchup on Saturday, 38 minutes, 45 DK points. Markkanen's been rebounding really well this season with Utah. He's been scoring a ton. His usage rate's been good. He's in play for me, but like Clarkson and Conley, I don't think really stand out here. Kelly O, I'm not in love with at that price tag. Jared Vanderbilt's a guy that does offer some upside if he stays out of foul trouble. His minutes have kind of been all over the place this season, but when he does get over 30 minutes, he can get you 35, 36 DK points. He's a good rebounder. He's a good shot blocker. He's a guy that can get a lot of defensive stats. He's like a playable GPP value. Always with him though, it's always you got to worry about foul trouble. But that's really it for this game. This one for me is just kind of wait and see if Ja plays or not. It's a 9 o'clock game. I don't know if we're going to have that news before lock. Hopefully we do. If Ja's in, not loving a ton here. If Ja's out, then I think we can start to consider guys like Bane, Tyus Jones, Brooks, those guys. But let's go ahead and talk about the last game of the night, Houston and the Rockets and the Clippers. So this one is also very appealing. On the Clippers side, we got some injuries to talk about for the Clippers. Kawhi Leonard already been ruled out for this game. Robert Covington already been ruled out for this game. And John Wall is not expected to play. He said he doesn't expect to play, even though it's a revenge game against his former team. So the Clippers going to be without Kawhi, John Wall, and Robert Covington. Paul George at 9,300 I think is a really good spend up today. Obviously, really, really good matchup here against Houston, a fast-paced team that doesn't play much defense. Paul George should have really good usage without Kawhi. I think right now, I'm kind of leaning De'Aaron Fox over Paul George, but it's really close. I think Paul George is definitely in play today. His production's been down lately, but I would expect a big game from him at some point, and if he's going to have a big game, it's probably going to be against this Rockets team. So, yeah, I definitely think Paul George is a good spend up today. On the Houston side, the Houston guards, KPJ, 7,600, Jalen Green, 6,600. They're okay options. I don't think either one stand out as priority plays today, but if you're building out a GPP lineup and you have 7,600 left for guard, I would have no issue plugging in Kevin Porter Jr. there, but I don't think I'm starting my lineups with these guys. And Zubac, it's a really good matchup for Zubac, but he's almost 7K. I I don't think I can pay this price tag for Zubac, even though he does have a ceiling. It's just, he's too expensive in my opinion. Jabari Smith, his price tag I'm not really loving. Norman Powell, I think, is in consideration here. He's been pretty terrible this season, but the last 2 games he started to look a lot better. 31 minutes, 25 minutes, 29, 28 DraftKings points. He's been shooting the ball better. Obviously, there's going to be more usage available without John Wall, without Kawhi Leonard. So yeah, I think Norman Powell is in play. I really like Reggie Jackson. I think Reggie Jackson should have a pretty big role here. Obviously, no Kawhi is just going to be more usage for everyone, and no John Wall should mean more minutes for Reggie Jackson. I think last game John Wall was out. I think it was against OKC. We did see Reggie Jackson play 37 minutes in that game. I'm pretty sure John Wall sat that one. Let me check. Let's see. No, John Wall did play in that game. But I think there was one game this season that John Wall did miss. I can't remember how many minutes Reggie Jackson played. But definitely it should be more minutes here for Reggie Jackson. He's not been that productive this season, but the minutes are going to be there. No no Kawhi Leonard is obviously beneficial. The price tag's very fair at 5,300. The matchup's fantastic. Like, I think Reggie Jackson is a pretty good play today. And then Şengün I like quite a bit. The Rockets have finally started starting Şengün. I think he started their last 2 games. The Rockets do play on Sunday night at the time I'm making this video, so we'll see what kind of game Şengün has on Sunday. But if he continues to start, I mean, 5,200 is way too cheap for Şengün if he's starting and playing anywhere near 30 minutes. We know Şengün is a point-per-minute player. He's a guy that's going to score, rebound, get assists. He can do everything when he's on the floor. 5,200 is just way too cheap for him. So yeah, if Şengün is starting again, love him on this slate. I think he's one of the best plays in general. He's just way too cheap, just for a guy that's going to start, play 30 minutes, and probably average well over a fantasy point per minute. And then even a guy like Marcus Morris, I think benefits a little bit here without Kawhi, without Robert Covington. He should play around 30 minutes. It's obviously a really good matchup. He's cheap. I mean, there's a lot to like in this game. We'll have to see what the starting lineup is for the Clippers. I'm guessing it'll be Paul George, Reggie Jackson, Zubac, Marcus Morris, and then maybe Terrence Mann. But we'll have to keep an eye on that. If Terrence Mann does start, like, he'd be an okay value play, but obviously his usage will not be great. Playing with Reggie, playing with Paul George. Well, actually, the starting lineup would be Paul George, Zubac, Norman Powell, Marcus Morris, and then who else? Am I missing somebody? Paul George, Zubac, Reggie Jackson, Norman Powell, Marcus Morris. So yeah, that would be the starting lineup. So Terrence Mann is not going to start. I don't think he's going to be in play. That was my mistake. So yeah, I think that's it for this game, guys. Definitely a lot to like in this one. My favorite plays in this one are for sure Paul George, Reggie Jackson, and Şengün. I think are my favorite plays, but I do like Marcus Morris quite a bit as well. But yeah, 7-game slate. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope I broke everything down. Good for you guys, and you can kind of you're more prepared for this slate, I should say. But that's kind of the goal with these videos, just kind of give you guys my quick and early thoughts on these slates. Hopefully they can kind of help you when building out your lineups. If you guys do want more content from me, I do provide that over on Patreon. You can check out the Patreon, link down below in the description if that is something that does interest you. But as always, best of luck on this slate, guys. Thank you for watching the video. Hit that like button if you enjoyed. Hit that subscribe button if you have not yet. Make sure to check out the sponsor of the video, PrizePicks. Again, PrizePicks, they are a player prop-based DFS site where you're taking the over or the under, taking more or less on a player's projection. They do have some projections posted right now, but obviously this is not the full board. We'll get the full board sometime on Monday. You can take a look at their board, see if there's any props that you like. Just make sure that when you sign up for PrizePicks, use code NOAH. You will get your first deposit matched up to $100 when you do sign up with my promo code. And I will be sharing a couple plays I like for PrizePicks today. I'll probably have a separate video posted either late Sunday night or sometime on Monday. I'll post my PrizePicks video talking through some props that I like for Monday. Check that video out, if you guys want to tail my picks. But good luck tonight, guys. Thanks as always for watching the video. Hope you enjoyed. We'll see you in the next one.